Conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here this morning. I just have a quick announcement, and then we're going to turn it over to the board. Again, this is going to be a question and answer time for some of the board members. We did not meet our quota for our bylaws vote, so that vote has died in the water. With that being said, we will have 3 open positions on the board. 2 of the 2 highest amounts of votes will serve a 3-year term, and the 3rd highest vote will serve the remainder of the term that was taken over by that John Chilcote was appointed to, and that will be a 2-year term. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to go ahead. I've got Fred up here, and I believe Cindy and Jennifer will be up here to answer some questions for you. Thank you.
I had a hand raised over here. Are we ready, or are you guys catching your breath? We're ready to go? I seen the first hand right over here.
Karen Stewart, lot 1389. I'm asking a question regarding secret ballots. I understand state law required that secret ballots be in community documents. However, community documents mean the declaration, our CC&Rs, bylaws, articles of corporation, and rules. Did the board investigate using a free rule to put a rule in that our ballots would be secret, not only for board of director elections, but all other ballots such as our bylaws? And if not, why not?
Did you say name and lot number? I didn't catch it. Sorry.
1389.
The board, can you hear me? Is it working? The board did not investigate rules and regulations. Rules and regulations would be something that the board could vote on without asking for an owner vote. So the correct way to approach this would be by amending the bylaws for an owner vote.
I believe we had another question over here. Oh, sorry.
Donna 379. I just have a suggestion, and this has nothing to do with any of that other stuff. This is just when we close the town center pool, can I suggest that the children be designated to one pool like NC1, so that the other people that don't want to be around children have 2 other pools to play in? Just a suggestion. That's all that is.
Great suggestion, Donna. Thank you.
I believe I had one over here.
Kathleen Connor, lot 1312. My question is, which copy of the CC&Rs is the board going by? We have been given 2 different copies. There have been a couple of different emails that have gone out that have quoted different sets of bylaws, 2022, 2024, or 2025. Which ones are we all going by?
You first asked about CCNRs and then you switched to bylaws. Kathy, are you asking about the bylaws? Okay, the bylaws would be the ones recorded in 2022 with an amendment recorded in 2025. I am not 100%, but I am probably 90% sure that the last CCNRs was 2021.
Karen Stewart, Lot 1389. As part of the ballot process, we had no opportunity to ask questions of the board. I sent in multiple questions respectfully. I asked for a meeting with Darlene respectfully. She was the point of contact to answer questions. 0 of my questions have been responded to. I want to know when I am going to receive those. And by the way, any question answered to me, I believe is fair game to be given to all the owners who deserve the answers to those questions. Just because the ballot is over does not mean those are not pertinent questions for future votes. So when will I receive my answers?
Darlene?
I'll get her an answer within 48 hours.
Thank you.
Yes, Terry Walters, Lot 497. It has to do with the voting procedures here. John was appointed back in 25 to fill the term of the gentleman that was resigned. Kind of like what happened when we lost Mr. Woodward here, and I believe the board filled that for like a 2+ year term. And prior to that, Jim Marion thought he was sharing a 6-month term, but it turned to be 1.5 years. So John was appointed probably to fill the gentleman that retired. So I want to understand and maybe get a state statute that says that John can run, because state statute says that he can't run until his term is filled.
Sir, I believe I heard your question and you wanted to know what state statute said that John had to run. Is that correct? I'm not.
I'm saying the state statute says that John cannot run until his term is filled, and then he can run after that. Right now, his term is to fill out whatever the gentleman that resigned was, which I believe is going to be next year or the year after.
Okay, John was appointed to complete the term of the director that resigned. So John is still a director until the annual election, and he can run at this time as a director seeking election.
So it was my understanding that the gentleman that retired was through to serve through 26.
Okay, so what you're saying is John's term is till 26. So basically, why is he running again when his term has not been filled? You're saying that the law says that he has to finish out the original term of the director that left, correct?
That's what state law says. Correct.
Okay. Historically at Happy Trails, that is the way that it has always been done. However, state statute states that an appointed director must run at the next election. So that is why John is running now.
Okay, my turn? Yes, no?
Yes, could you please send me that state statute, please? And state the, whatever it is, the recording date.
We will publish the answer to the state statute. Thank you.
Okay, Michelle Stoltz, lot 444. This is going to take a little bit. This is going to take a little bit to give all the explanation, all the background of what's going on here. A little over 3 weeks ago, I sent an email to Darlene and to all of the board questioning the BYOB front steps broadcast that had been sent out initially with the license that explained all the different parameters of what had to occur, 4 p.m., blah, 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 blah. In that email, I had stated that I had done research, and even on the Arizona Department Liquor License and Control website, it says residents of either HOA-run properties or senior living communities may provide their own liquor at their residence and in common areas on the property. I went on in that email to say that perhaps the issue is that we need to be club-sponsored happy hours rather than HOA or Chef Peter sponsored, because my understanding of Title IV laws is that that applies to businesses, does not apply to the residents. I asked for confirmation on that in that email. I asked for them, if they were going to deny us the ability to have those, to give me any state statutes, contracts, or other documents that were involved in that decision. 3 days later, I was contacted by Curtis. I did not contact him. He sent me an email saying, I understand you have a question, call me. Well, we tried a couple times to call back and forth, and over the next couple of days, our schedules didn't work out. So I sent him an email, and I said, apparently we're not going to be able to do this over the phone. Please send me written what you have for a statement on this. I didn't get one. A week later, he tried to call me again. I wasn't available. I sent him another email that night and said, I asked you to please give me a written permission. I now have a visitor coming for several days and will not be available again. I ask again for a written statement on what's going on with the BYOB for homeowners or clubs versus HOA or a business within the HOA. I still have not received any response from Curtis. I noticed last night that we got the communication that was sent out, and the way that that was worded for any HOA-sponsored BYOB. It may have been very carefully worded that way. I don't know. I noticed it was worded that way. Now, I have a couple of questions. One, what am I supposed to do to get a written response from Curtis, given that I've asked for it for 3 times now? 2, want to make sure that Curtis is not charging us for these additional calls and things that he's doing, since I've had to ask 3 times for what I wanted. And 3, just for the record, you do also have that license to NC1. You only said you have it to the PAC and to NC2. You also have it to NC1. The reason it may not show up when you're searching is because the name it was filed under for NC1 does not match exactly how it was filed for the PAC and for NC2.
We just got clarification about the license for NC1. So yes, we do have for NC1, NC2, and the PAC.
Michelle, Curtis will get you a written answer by the end of the week.
Aaron Stewart, lot 1389. When I was seeking answers to my questions, I followed 100% the process that was identified to owners. I contacted Darlene. I sent emails to Darlene. I sent emails to president of the board, you and Darlene. I did not go on social media. I did not stir up a bunch of residents. I did not hire an attorney. I 100% gave you an opportunity to follow the process identified, and I received 0 answers. How do you suggest owners who have legitimate questions get answers when the board is non-responsive?
Karen, thank you for following the process. Certainly, management and the board appreciate you following the process. I believe that many of your questions had to do with this particular election. Is that correct? Thank you. Okay, thank you. So most of your questions were applicable to this election. And Darlene did say when you asked a few moments ago that she would have a response to you in 48 hours. Correct, Darlene?
Correct.
Thank you. I believe that you did everything correctly, and we will work to get answers to you more quickly. Thank you.
I'd like to add one thing, and I'm not here trying to defend anybody or anything, but I get in a lot of the committees and in Darlene's office a lot and everything. This lady is covered up with emails. I've seen as many as 50 in a day that she gets. There's only one of her, and she tries hard. She really does. And I don't know, we have to give her some grace, or we have to be willing to sign an assistant or do something, but I'm just speaking the truth. I'm not here defending her or anything. She has a lot on her plate, so.
Thank you, Fred.
Tom Corkle, 2158. First of all, I want to thank you guys for what you're doing. It's a tough job, and I just want you to know there's a lot of us that really appreciate it. But I want to ask what I think is maybe more important than some of this that's been going on, and that has to do with our future and its finances. From what I'm reading, we've got over $3 million worth of assets that are reaching zero life this year. And because we're a 50% funded community, we're short. So what I'm wondering is, what can we do to address this and get us out of this huge deficit without our properties and our equipment expiring?
Thank you for your question. That is an incredibly astute observation and an excellent question, because we have to maintain our facilities and we have to improve and upgrade.
Does everybody here know what zero life is in the community, what it means? Okay, for those that don't, you know, we have Jeff Peters for an example. We bought him $30,000, $40,000 worth of refrigerator, stoves, and different things. Those are things that wear out, and we have to replace them. We have $3.6 million, and stuff is getting so aged here that we could go broke. I'm just stating fact. Even though we have that much money, we have so much to repair around here. And since I've been on the board, I've been trying to hold it back and repair what is necessary and what is important. I love Happy Trails. I love the people here. It's a great community. But we have to manage it right, or we won't have any funds, or we'll be calling on each one of the owners when we need 5 or 10 grand extra from you so we can stay afloat. We don't want to get there. So this is a big issue, this zero life on anything that is set up for a certain period of time. Say we've got, give you an example, a dishwasher, it's got a 10-year life, okay? And we're on 9.5. So it's coming up, but we have several items like that. So these are big, big concerns we got. So we're trying to figure out a way that we can take care of these things and not put us in a bad situation. This is a suggestion. This is not something the board's passing. I think we should hire, I know it's spending money, an outside source that you might be able to get one for $3,000 or $4,000, and they come in and look at all of our equipment, everything we have, and they put a life on it and they put a value on it, because there are things on this list that I don't think we need anymore. We need to get rid of on the zero life. So I think if we had somebody come in and look at everything that we have and figure out where we're really at, because we all know, hey, I'm not as young as I used to be, and I know I'm changing, life changes, things change in buildings. We all do. But we got to work together to figure out how to make it the best life we can have. So my proposal is we find somebody that comes in that will tell us whether this is a concern or it's not a concern, or this is good for 10 years instead of 2 years you still have on it. And this is what the cost would be. So all we're gathering is information to give us a plan. And I believe plans are everything, as long as you work them and you stick to them. But that is my suggestion. That is my thought, and I'm just sharing it with you.
Excuse me, thank you, Fred. I would like to just say that we do a reserve study that gets us the zero life things. However, 2 years, it is a reserve study. The 3rd year, they come on site. But that is not necessarily what Fred is proposing, which is someone who actually understands air conditioning, understands dishwashers, whatever. So his suggestion is slightly different than what our reserve study would give us. I would also like to, at this point, applaud the Finance Committee, because the Finance Committee, I've got news, without money, we're not going to do any of the rest. And I would like to applaud the Finance Committee. For several years, Happy Trails has had to replace roads and roofs. And in the replacement of roads and roofs, we exceeded the amount of reserve funds that we took in for the course of a year. So just for simple math, these are not actual numbers. In the course of a year, we take in $1,000 in and put it, in the course of 1 year, we put $1,000 into our reserve fund. In that same year, we spend $1,200. So we have overspent our reserve fund. We have overspent what we have collected for both roads and roofs. Now, here is where I wish to applaud the new Finance Committee. They said, time out. We cannot continue to spend more than we collect. The object is to try to get things done, but also grow our reserves. It is not a vote. It is not a vote for the board. It is not a vote for the owners. It is simply a plan that the Finance Committee is following, where they will attempt to only spend up to 85% of the reserves collected in a given year. The additional 15% collected would be put to grow our reserves. As Fred said, a plan. That is a good plan. That is getting things fixed, but it's also growing our reserves. This is something new that this finance committee has decided is a great plan to get us on the path to financial security. In addition, the finance committee needs to be applauded for thinking about the asset improvement fund. The asset improvement fund is for improving happy trails. That's asset improvement fund, improving happy trails. However, it can also be used as a reserve shortfall. So it's money that's there to improve the resort, but also as a reserve shortfall. So thinking about that, our finance committee has said, let's not let that asset improvement fund drop below a certain level so that we have it there should we need it to supplement a reserve expense. This committee is watching our money. They are coming up with plans to make certain that, as Fred said, we're not hit with a $5,000 or $10,000 special assessment to get us whole. All of that said, Happy Trails does another thing. There is such a thing as zero life based on a reserve study or based on someone coming in and saying, it's 10 years old, it's at zero's life. Happy Trails runs to death. And that's the wrong word. I call it death, but it is run to failure. The actual official term is run to failure. So if we have an air conditioner and it is on the reserve study at zero life, which means that it needs to be replaced, we will not replace it at zero life. We will run to failure and then replace it. Therefore, we may get 1, maybe 2 more years out of it. So many things are being done both by management, by the finance committee, to help us get to financial security. Sir, does that help with your question?
Let me say one other thing. If you notice, we have the new striping on the roads. We spent more money on that striping than we normally do, but we were redoing it every year and a half and 2 years. This is highway paint, and you know what the highway on Bell Road is like. It's a lot, it's more severe than we have in here. Out there, it has a minimum life expectancy of 7 years. In here, they're talking 10 years to more. So we're not spending that money every 2 years. Sure, we spend a little bit more, but we're not redoing it. It's lasting longer, and we're going to try to find ways that it is feasible for us to maybe spend a little bit more, but we're not doing it all the time. It's lasting longer. All we're trying to do is make sure that all of us are happy in Happy Trails. And so the thing of it is, by bringing maybe a company in or somebody, there are items that are on that list that we may not need anymore, but we still have it on that list. You know, you clean up things and you bring it down. You know, it's like we have a lot of little tiny projects. I've talked to this with the board before, little tiny things. If they're something we want to do, knock them out, get them out of the way. You make that basket smaller and we deal with less. And it's less problems for the community. It's less problems for the board. Thank you.
And I would like to simply add, striping is an excellent example. Striping is on the reserve, but now it could feasibly be removed because this striping is going to last a long time. If not removed, moved way out. If you are referring to the asset improvement fund, there's $1.4 million. And and I wish to deviate briefly before another question. in the note, did everyone read the February, or did everyone get a copy or take a look at the February Nosy Coyote? I don't know if you did, but there's always a financial breakdown in the Nosy Coyote. And the financial breakdown in the Nosy Coyote said 8,700,000 and some odd dollars fully funded, reserves fully funded. And underneath it, it's at actual cash, 4 million approximately. And so I'm afraid that some people may have looked at that and said, oh, we have 8 million and we are fully funded. The real interpretation of that is it takes 8,700,000 to get us fully funded. We are closer to 50% funded. So just kind of a clarity in reading those lines. Thank you.
And also, so you understand, with the money we have a little over $4 million in investments that we all have here. It's not spread out. It's not in annuities. It's all insured. We have it all back. But we have to have those investments because that's income for us also to live on. So there's a lot going on. And we just need your support and help in everything we do.
Hi, Maren. I'm Lot 536. So it's all good about talking about finances and how we do things, but I have a lot of concerns and things that I've seen, how we choose the people to do the work in Happy Trails. 2020, they wanted bids for all the roofs in Happy Trails. It never happened. They never got them back. So my thoughts are like, who are we hiring to do the work? The roads have been done 3 or 4 times since I've been here, like 9 years. And there was even a conversation where the roads weren't done right by the person that we contracted to do the work. And so supposedly this last summer, that was all supposed to be redone and properly, but the roads still look terrible. I don't know about the white stuff on the road that you're talking about, but that stuff's pretty nasty right now and it hasn't even been there 6 months. So there's a lot, like the roofs being done. NC1 stayed all summer long with a wood roof after they ripped the roof off. So I'm just concerned, who are we picking to do these contracts? Are they friends? Are they relatives? Are we really looking at the best resources of the right, correct people to do the job? The heater in the pool, we waited a year to get done. And then we had that. Now it doesn't work half the time. And it's like, are we really choosing the right equipment, the right companies to do the work that needs to be done around here so we don't have to ask for assessments? We don't have to keep redoing these things over and over. In C2, the pool's been done 2 or 3 times for various reasons. So, and I understand what it means when equipment starts failing at a certain lifespan it has. But when we correct things and we have to recorrect them and redo them over and over, it's a really waste of money. So I think our money can be better spent or looked at in other ways to get things done. That's kind of in general what I'm saying.
Thank you very much. Sorry, we're trying to do a better job. We've had some issues in the past. That isn't past, it's over. So we're trying to grow in the right direction. But you know, it's kind of like life. When we get up and we don't know what tomorrow's going to bring for us. We don't know if we're going to be healthy or we've got a problem. It's just the way life is. So we are really struggling and trying very hard to make the best decisions and do the right things. But there is no guarantee. I don't care who the contractor is, who he is. An example, we had a guy that gave us a bid on the big pool, okay? And we're doing an investigating. It sounded good. Next thing you know, we request some things from him. We don't get it. The bid comes in a different name out of state. That throws up a red flag for us. So what do? We get rid of the guy. We put new bids out. We try our best. We just don't just do something. We try to make sure that our decision is a good decision. Just like the white on the roads that we did, they're dirty because it's black pavement, cars drive over them, and it discolors them, but they're not going to wear off. That's the idea behind it. Their longevity is long, and we're not spending the money all the time. Nobody has the right answer. None of us do, but we are trying to do what's right.
Larry Lady, 1432. I listened to all the comments, and I want to also congratulate the Finance Committee. They've done a terrific job. But my question is, why were the legal expenses so much this year?
There are two reasons why our legal expenses are high this year. The first reason is that Happy Trails for many years did do-it-yourself documents. They would create a resolution or they would create a policy, and they would never put legal eyes on policy. The board would pass it. The board believed that what they were doing was the right thing and in the best interest of Happy Trails. And now we are finding that many of those documents must be rewritten, rebrought to the board for vote. So one of the things that has been going on this year is trying to clean up documents that were, for lack of a better word, do-it-yourself documents. The second reason that our legal expenses this year are high is because there are owners that bring questions to the board. When they bring a question to the board that challenges a document, challenges state statute, challenges performance, anything like that, every one of these has got to be reviewed by our legal counsel so that we do not have a misstep and give out the wrong information. That's the reason. So I believe one director said it perhaps succinctly and most accurately. Many of our legal expenses are self-inflicted.
Marty Whitman, lot 937. I'm here 13 years now, and I've heard, well, the bid didn't come in like it was supposed to be, or the guy quit. I was brought this up before and was assured that we don't let any bids out now that doesn't have a performance bond and to follow through with the quality that your bid asks for.
Marty, thank you. You are 100% correct, but that is a relatively new thing for Happy Trails. Now, every bid that goes out has a performance clause with penalty for non-performance. We ensure that they have the right amount of insurance. We ensure that they are listed with the state registry, and that on the state registry, their listing is for the work that we're asking. Some people are listed in the registry for many different things, but they do have a specialty within those things. Also, with Darlene becoming the general manager and Bradley becoming the operation manager, there is no contract signed that does not have legal eyes on it. And the reason for the legal eyes is to protect us.
I'm sorry, I have to sit. I've got a little bit of a knee thing going on. My name is Lisa Day, 1317. A couple of comments and a question. First, I'd like to thank, I sit on the Finance Committee, and I'd like to thank the audience and the board for recognizing the work that we're doing. We really appreciate it. We're just now getting into the budgeting process over February, March, and April. So we're working hard to do the best we can. I would like to clarify something that Jennifer said, that the Finance Committee does not spend money. Our whole purpose is to make recommendation to the board. We do not make decisions. We make recommendations that we pass along to the board, and the board is the one that makes the decision as to how your money is spent. For clarity.
Thank you.
My next comment, a procedure, I believe, or it wasn't a policy, but a procedure that came out at one of your I think it was a board planning meeting, I'm not sure, but it was at a meeting in the last few months, Jennifer. This question is for you. That spoke to a new procedure that was put in place, that any contracts that were going to be implemented that had funds attached to them would have to have 3 bids. I think that's a brilliant policy. I think the board agreed to it. So my question is, does that apply to everything? And where that's going is, I know our HomeCo contract is up in April. It's a very spendy contract, and I know there are other large HOA management companies out there. I also believe that there's a 3-month window in which we have to give notice if there's going to be a change with HomeCo. Maybe it's a 2-month, I'm not sure, but we're getting pretty close to that window right now. So my question is the board going out for bids, as needs to be done with everything else at Happy Trails now, for the property management contract? And if not, why?
Great question. And just for a couple of clarity points on it, the Happy Trails Community Association contract with HomeCo expires May 1st of 2026. In order to cancel that contract, 60 days notice, 60 days written notice must be given to HomeCo. If 60 days written notice is not given to HomeCo, the contract automatically renews for 1 year. But at any time during the contract, with 60 days notice from either party, the contract can be terminated. So Happy Trails has the option to give 60 days notice and end the contract with HomeCo, or HomeCo has the option to give Happy Trails 60 days notice and end the contract with Happy Trails. So that is a 2-way street, 60 days notice when we are in the contract period. In order to go out and seek other management companies, it will be a process. I believe that the board is going to start this process, but that is me speaking, not the entire board speaking. So please, me speaking, one person, one vote on the board. This would be a discussion and a decision for the entire board to make. But so that everyone has some idea of what that process might look like, the board would have to choose or appoint, select an ad hoc committee, choose the members for the ad hoc committee, give that ad hoc committee specific guidelines, specific timeframes as to what they were looking for. Those things would then have to be presented. This is not a go out for 3 bids. This is a far more complicated process than that. Like I said, one person, one vote. I believe that this will be looked at in this year. But remember, my opinion.
I'm Bill Silversky, Lot 2250. I'm a member of the Communications Committee. And you all know that the weekly newsletter goes out every Friday on the internet, on front steps. And for those that don't use electronic media, it goes out in paper copy in the post office. And the committee, led by Marge Hollingshead, sitting right over there, has been going around to all the bulletin boards to post the weekly newsletter. It gets out there by Monday mornings. I would like a raise of hands as to how many people use the bulletin boards here in Happy Trails. Raise of hands. Raise of hands, raise of hands. Thank you very much. And if any of you have any comments about how we can make the bulletin boards better, see me after this meeting. I'd be happy to hear from you. Marge has been doing a good job. She's got the Valentine's theme out there on the bulletin boards now. And so they don't look like just something to hold paper. They're out there to catch your attention. And I'm amazed at how many people don't use it, but I'm gratified to see how many people do. Thank you very much.
Marla Festini's lot 2323. I have a few questions. Now, when you're talking about the white lines, are you talking about the new stuff that says walk, bike, and cart?
Yes, that's what
Okay.
we're talking, and the stripes
Okay.
and the walkways and all that. that we
I've
did.
seen a lot of that with the wording on it. It's all crumbling. So is there a guarantee within a certain amount of time that they will guarantee for maybe a year? It seems only reasonable, or even.
It's got a big guarantee, but that guy right there behind you can answer that.
Yeah. Then I
Yes, there is a guarantee and warranty work. I've already had them out here looking at those legends. The material is on its way, and as soon as they get here, they will replace and do the warranty work for it at no cost. Correct. Correct.
Lisa Day, 1317. Just another quick question, if I may, please. Right now, somebody mentioned the attorney fees earlier. Right now, if we stay on task with the spending on attorney fees, we're going to be about $100,000 over budget. Our budget for this fiscal year is 40,000, and we're at 60 some, close to 70,000 right now. And we have another 6 months to go, 5 months to go. So my question to the board is, why are we not pursuing putting an attorney, whether it's Curtis or hopefully someone else, on retainer rather than having to pay a $500, $450, $500 hourly wage to him? A retainer, to have somebody on legal counsel for us on an annual basis, seems to be much more fiscally responsible.
Lisa, we have never investigated a retainer. We can investigate that. Thank you.
Mickey Aston, Lot 13. Got a question about the upcoming election for board directors. First, I want to thank everybody for coming here today, for being online, and anybody who watches later. I appreciate everybody's involvement. Again, I'm Mickey Aston, Lot 13. So I believe I heard you say we have 3 open positions on the board. Is that correct?
Darlene said that we have 3 open positions. The candidates with the 2 top number of votes will fill 3-year terms. The candidate with the 3rd number of votes will fill a 2-year term.
And are you also saying that now that we have 3 positions open, will we open the candidate application process to start that process over? Because the positions opened has changed. We don't have 2 positions, we now have 3 positions. Will that cause the process to start over?
No.
So we have, I believe, 6 eligible candidates now running for 3 positions. So the 6 candidates who were at the Meet the Candidates meetings, sessions, are those the 6 eligible candidates for the 3 positions?
That is correct. The 6 candidates were at the 3 Beat the Candidates, and those are the 6 names that will be on the ballot.
Staying on the election topic, the quorum, and I did not hear what you said about the quorum for the bylaw proposal. Did we meet quorum?
No, I said we did not, so it died in the water.
I feel like I should have a conversation with Darlene. Thank you though, Darlene. I appreciate you. Can you disclose to us how many Election Buddy electronic ballots came in and how many paper ballots came in?
I don't have the exact count. I know we were probably close to about 300 away from making the quorum. So I can get the correct, we can, if you'd like, we can get the correct amount and post that. It's up to the board if they want me to do that.
Hello, I'm Angie Ganzuk, lot 536. I wanted to follow up on two issues that we've addressed in previous meetings. One is about, I can't call it security. I know we don't have security at the front gate, but closer to my mouth? Okay. We discussed issues and solutions for lack of a better word, security at the front gate, all the gates. I'm wondering if you guys have come up with some better ideas for enforcing that. Have we, when we have new people come in, do they get the paper thing in the windshield? Because even yesterday we were at the Roy Rogers gate and there was a younger guy on one of these like wheel things, like hovering with some tablet, and he waited to get behind us. And it wasn't like a delivery truck or, you know, so I just want to know if we've come up with some new solutions for that also with the front gate so that people can be identified if they have something in their windshield, maybe just going back to that. My second topic has to do with the conversations we've been having about making Happy Trails Resort look like a resort in this middle median as we come in. I know we had discussed that. I'm very concerned about what, you know, the trees maintaining, and we talked about having the lighted stuff. But then I heard recently that you were thinking of doing the split rail and the fencing, which doesn't look very resort-like. I don't think that goes with the motif that we were discussing. So I wanted to get an update on that. Also, it would be impossible to have a split rail that goes around all the existing bushes and trees. So I just want to know where you guys stand on that right now. Thank you.
Darlene, do you want to answer what is in place with patrol?
So as when guests come in, if they come into the chuck wagon, they get a bright pink card that goes in their windshield saying they're going to the chuck wagon. If it's a guest coming to a lot, they get a white printout that they have a machine out there that prints out a card that goes in the windshield. As far as people coming through the Roy Rogers or the Cascade, I'm sorry, not Cascade, or the Walgreens gate, I know that the board is looking into possibly other alternatives, possibly a key card system or I don't know, what do you call it, Brad? Is it called
access management?
Access management. So it is being looked into. There has not been anything finalized on that. It depends. No, there is an expiration on it. If they're only coming in for the day, they only get it for the day. They can ask for more. If it's a guest for up to 14 days, which is how long you can have your guest here, it would be for the 14 days. Does that answer your question? You're welcome.
I see you guys over there. I got one over here and then I'll get to you.
What about Barb answering something on the safety committee since she's the chair? She could probably help us there too on that question.
I'm Barb Fugelberg. I'm the chair of the safety committee. So we listened into the comments that were made. We listened into the comments that were made at the last meeting, and we discussed those at our last safety committee meeting, and we're in the process of looking at other things. One of the areas that there is concern about is the app that we use called Gate Access. So how many in this, show of hands, how many here use Gate Access? So the Gate Access is an app that we need to communicate to everybody as our way of communicating as owners and as residents, because it could be a renter who's got someone coming in. that people that are coming in, and whether they want them to have a one-day pass or whether they're listed as a permanent visitor. So some of you have got children that live in the area, so you may have your children as permanent so that the gate doesn't have to ask them all the time. But one of the things we find is that gate access, many of us don't keep it updated. And the understanding of how we think it's used is maybe different than the gate people think it's used. So I use the example that my husband has cousins that they rent a place in the community, not in Happy Trails, but outside every March. And we have them listed as a permanent guest. When they came in, they asked for a 2-week pass. I really don't want them to have a 2-week pass, but since I have them listed as a permanent guest, they are given a 2-week pass. And they can come in anytime they want and use the pool without my knowledge. So what the safety committee is doing is trying to figure out how we can communicate how those things really work and the kinks in it, if you will, and how we can maybe solve that. Along that line, though, we are having them look into, Brad is going to be looking into different types of similar apps. One's called Dwelling that links up to our Caliber system. That might be better for all of us. So first off, what I want to communicate to people, and we'll get a better way out here, is how to best use gate access and get that app on your phone so that you can alert the guard check of who you want and who you don't. In particular, if there's someone that you don't want in there that might have been an abusive partner in the past, because we've had that specifically you don't want them to come in. The other thing that wasn't brought up here, but last time in the meeting, you talked about that a woman, and I think it might have been you, it was a pretty blonde woman, that had an issue at NC1 in the shower. And we are looking into, could there be a way that we retrofit with a pull cord like they've got in nursing homes and that kind of stuff with your bathroom and alert that. So we're looking into that. That's going to be a long-term project, though, if you will. That's not high on our list of what we're looking at right now. If there's anything else, questions related to safety committee, I'd be glad to answer them.
Thank you, Barb.
So I wouldn't forget them. Marla Festini's lot 2323. Okay, so, okay, lot 2323. Okay, first question. Is there a reason the board didn't prepare for the HOA ending contract? Is there a reason why the board members did not maybe get together last year and discuss knowing that the contract was going to end so you wouldn't come up to such a close date? The next one is on voting. It was voting online. And I remember last year, and I think this is why Michael was hired, because there was something we voted on. And if you owned more than one lot, you were only allowed to vote once. Has that been taken care of?
That had to do with the survey on Front Steps, had nothing to do with the voting.
Where are you? Okay. That was just the survey? Okay.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. And I would like a question regarding the HOA and the contracting.
This year, the board did not discuss the Homeco HOA contract. That's all I can say. It was not discussed this year.
Jocelyn Harpel, 1233. Barbara, I have a couple of questions for you. The pink pass that is given for the people going to the chuck wagon,
Correct.
Does it have instructions on it?
It has instructions on how to get there.
Right. Does it say, though, that this is for use of the chuck wagon only? I'm just wondering if we could, on those pink forms, have that the people shouldn't be coming to use the amenities?
That's something that Darlene and Brad can do. The safety committee has more to do with the initial question, but management has to do with the actual details of what's on it.
Okay.
They are the only ones, the chuck wagon is the only one that has the pink pass, though.
The other thing that I've noticed, and this is to Darlene, when we first purchased in here in 2021, we found Patrol was very active with the community. They come into the pool areas, they talked to us, they asked us, how's your day going? I don't know if they've gotten busy with other stuff and maybe we're just not having the same interaction. I think if we had their presence more around the facilities, it would deter the public from using our amenities. And I will say the last week and a half at the pool, there's only been one incident. And it makes me happy. Thank you. And I know you guys get a lot of complaints, and I'm sorry.
Thank you. We are working they do go out there and they do patrol on their different shifts. But we have brought concerns to them, like some of the ones you brought to us, Jocelyn. And so we are working on that. And that's probably why you've been seeing it a little better this week than it has been in the past. So any concerns that you bring to us about patrol, we do speak with them. I talk with captain or someone in patrol at least once every morning to go over any issues we might have. Okay.
And can I touch on the pink passes? Check. How about that? I just wanted to touch on the pink passes for a second. We can definitely get more language in there. When guests come to use the public restaurant, they're verbally told that, here are the directions. This is where you're going. This is the only area you're allowed to. But we can absolutely work on some more language on those passes.
I think that this has become more of a problem with the housing across the street. I never saw this before the end of last year. It just wasn't something that we seen. And I was asked by a resident, well, how do you know they're outsiders? I am a pool person. I am there every day. We all know each other. We all know we speak to each other. We're residents in Happy Trails that all communicate with each other.
And we're hoping that access management can really help out with that, with the pool access and some of the club rooms and all the other amenities that we have.
Okay. The other thing is RVs can come in and do short-term rentals for 2. Okay, so short-term rentals for 2 weeks in RV lots, correct? 2 weeks, they can do up to, okay. They can, so when they come in with gate access and they're coming in to stay on an RV lot for one night or a week, what kind of slip are they given? And have they filled out an occupancy form that the office has with their driver's license?
Yes, they will fill out a form, but depending on, we get a lot of different situations. Sometimes we'll have someone who owns a lot and their family members coming in for 2 nights with their RV, and they're technically as a guest at that point, as long as there's no park model or anything else on the lot, of course. So if you're renting it, yes, there is a NOPA that you fill out, a notice of pending arrival or occupancy, and all of that is filled out in the front office. Yes.
Okay, because there was on Dale Evans, a small RV last week that parked on Dale Evans for 2.5 hours with his generator running, with his guest pass for a lot, and doing his laundry, but he had animals inside, so he's running his generator and parked right on the road. And it was leak plague for pickleball. It was very busy in the area. It was kind of.
I believe I know what lot you're referring to, and we've taken action as we can.
Thank you very much.
A few more questions for Bradley. On the pink slip that's handed out at security, does that go to, what color slip do the people that come in for services on Sunday get? White, okay. So there's 2 different ones there, so there's white, and pink. I go into AZT all the time, so I get one of these little cards. I can guarantee you that I don't read what's on it. I put it in my windshield. So putting more narrative on there, I'm not sure is the answer until we get the fob system in place. So I appreciate everybody being creative on that, but I'm not sure that that's it. And yeah, I think we all see people run around with cards in their window. That's great. But in theory, if I want to snoop around here and I've given a card to put in my window, as soon as I'm through the security shack, I throw that thing in the back seat on the floor. So it really isn't a substantial or a secure program that's going to work. I mean, even Barb's shaking her head, and I don't know what the answer is, but there are way more people in this resort right now than I've ever seen in my 12 years here. And the dude that went through the gate on the little roller derby thing, he's all over this resort. He's been here for 2 weeks, going as fast as you can on the streets. I don't believe he lives here. I can't catch him. I've called security. I don't know what we do with the people that are roaming, but they're more and more, and it's becoming more and more of a concern, safety wise.
Lisa, your point about us not reading the cars, because I'm guilty of that myself when I brought my RV in, and then I got a new car. But regarding the people coming in, that is where, and I know this is hard, but you know, to see something, say something, and the management really appreciates you to do that. What we're trying to figure out a way is how can we codify or calculate all of those things. So maybe that it might come to the safety committee so we have an idea of the frequency that occurs. Right now, the only thing that we can look at is the community crime map that we monitor on a regular basis, and we calculate how many of instances that occurred on a monthly basis. But that is related to the fact that the police came in and did something and wrote a report, and we can find it online. And it is for a crime. Non-crimes are listed also. The amount of crimes that are reported has really come down significantly. We had a rash of bikes being stolen maybe around 4 years ago, and that's gone down. A lot of what we're seeing is some rowdy behavior maybe on our own residents. But it does look like we might have one section that it might be a little bit more problematic, my point is that it is the only thing we know for a fact is things that get submitted to the police. So if there is something that you think is funky, we do ask that you call the police, because then somehow in the long run we'll find out about it. But we also, no, I know, the underage one. That. So what we've asked security is, can we get an information as to how many of those instances that we're finding out about, you know, giving us a log that's got names taken out of it. And Brad and I've chatted about this, so I'm not knowing that it was, you know, this person or that person. I just have clear statistics. So we're trying to get people to submit those reports, and then those reports come to the safety committee so that we can really analyze them and find out really what we can do about it. Right now, all we know about are the issues that are occurring that are listed as crimes.
While we're on the subject of security and patrol, I would just like to make 2 comments. They are patrol, not security. So they are patrol people. They are not security people. And people can enter Happy Trails a variety of different ways. They don't necessarily have to come through one of our gates. They can come over from the golf course. There are a lot of ways to get to Happy Trails besides our 3 entry points. So please remember that each of us, if we see something, call patrol and they will come and ask some questions as to whether or not they're a resident, whether or not they're a guest. But bear in mind that they're patrol, not security. And Donna has had her hand up for the last 15 minutes. I'm pretty sure her arm is getting tired.
Donna Wisdom, 379. Here's my thought on patrol. We have 4 patrols people in our shack, as I call it, every day during the day. 3 or 4?
Depends on the shift, usually at least 3.
Okay, so if we have 4 in there, 2 would be good for bringing the cars in. I get that. The other 2, I know that we have little go-karts or golf carts, whatever you want to call them, that they use. Maybe if they show more presence and go around, they could stop people that's on the little scooter thing. They could, if they're more present and they're going around and they're checking things on a regular daily basis, that might help the situation in all of it. And that way that's taken care of. I mean, if we have 4, 2 of them should be out on patrol, not all 4 of them sitting in the shack, which I have seen quite a bit. So if they're out, and I know it's in the summer, it's really hot, but unfortunately, they're getting paid to do that job and they need to do that job. Just saying.
On saying that, Donna, on patrol, I agree, but they now have, we're not gated, as was pointed out to me. We are no longer a gated resort. We spend over 600,000 a year in patrol. How can they patrol 3 people, this big a property? This is where I feel Happy Trails needs to come to the next level, like every 55 plus community, and have a fob system to enter the buildings. We wouldn't have so much stuff stolen. And I think that having patrol still is a wonderful idea, but how can they do this big of area? I just can't see how it's doable.
Linda Osterguy, lot 1114. There was a vehicle, the pickleball courts, and had no tag on it, no card. They were playing on our courts. I called patrol or security, and they said, that's not our job. I feel that you guys want us to say something. Well, they got to do something. When I bought in here, it was supposed to be security. Now they changed it to patrol. I wanted to live here safely. I don't want people coming in here that we don't know. It might be too late, but we can do something about it now.
How about they take a copy of everybody's driver's license and a copy of the license, and that could deter people that might have another idea about roaming our neighborhoods, because I see people driving. I know they don't belong there, and we need security. So maybe we need to up another level and not just be patrol and have some kind of security, because I don't feel safe here anymore. I don't even want to be at the library doing a puzzle when it gets dark, or go to NC 1 or 2 when it gets dark, or just walk in the neighborhood anymore. And I really miss that sense of security being here, because it was different a few years ago. And another point I'm just going to make on that is, if we see something going on, I don't know why we can't call patrol to come check it out. Come and say, hey, who are you? Who are you staying with? What's going on? If there's a ruckus on the golf court, or somebody getting accosted in the bathroom, they should be able to come and talk to those people, and they should call 911. Our security patrol, whoever, should call 911 instead of expecting we're going to call 911 for every suspicious thing we see, when patrol can come, security, and talk to the people and just find out maybe they got locked out of their house. Maybe they're visiting their relative, and it could be totally innocent, but they should be the first line of defense when we contact them for something that seems suspicious or not quite right.
Darlene and Bradley, I believe it's my understanding that if patrol is called, they do respond.
If patrol is called, they are supposed to be responding. If they're not, then we will address that, and I will address that with my meeting with them tomorrow morning, and I apologize if that's not being done. As far as calling 911, if you feel like you are being threatened in some way, you still, whether you call patrol or not, should call 911.
Kathleen Connor, lot 1312. So my question goes on to this security patrol issue. Is it working? Okay, sorry. I'm not sure what our total budget is right now for patrol, but I believe it goes through our HOA company, correct? Like that's part of it, or is this a separate thing? I guess that's one question.
Patrol employees are Happy Trails employees, not HomeCo employees.
Okay. Whoa, I just lost that thing. Sorry. I got so excited. Okay, so there are employees. So perhaps maybe now it's time to go out for bid for a private security company. Just saying, maybe we could like not pay retirement, their benefits, their overtime, whatever. If we have a private security company coming in, maybe they would give us more bang for our buck. Just a thought.
Thank you, Kathy.
Angie Ganzuk, lot 536. I just want to put my name in the hat. I would love to work patrol or security or anything. I'm available. I've been looking for work for anyway. I love Happy Trails. I want to make Happy Trails as happy as it can possibly be. My second thing, yeah, I love. Wanted to have my second question addressed, if you don't mind, about your plans per se at the moment about the median and not taking down trees and bushes and split rail fence. Could you please? Thank you.
Certainly. At this point in time, there is only one plan that is board approved for the median, and that is 3 sections of split rail fence that will go from the guardhouse to Trigger. No other plans.
It's just sections. A lot of people said, we had a lady that said, how do I get across the street? Because she thought it was going to be up there and she'd have to climb over the rail. It's just sections. Sandy speak. Beautification.
Tom Corkle, 2158. A year ago, I believe I was on the ad hoc committee for the safety, and we had discussed certain things that might heighten security, but of course it's going to cost money. And one of them was photo license plate as people are coming in. And I was thinking the other day, if I was on the outside and I wanted to come in and do something I shouldn't be doing, I get a tag and I can go to the chuck wagon. But what's the accountability of that? That I'm going to go to the chuck wagon to begin with, and even if I do, what's to keep me from wandering around and doing something that we all don't want somebody to do? I don't believe there's any accountability for when a person leaves. I mean, maybe they can stick their tag in a mailbox, but maybe they don't, and when they don't. So I just was wondering if there was anything regarding that has been in the works.
I will say, as we're working on the access management, we are looking at license plate readers for the gates. So that's a part of the bid that we're going out for the access management. Well, that's the challenge that we're all facing, right? That's the bigger problem that we have. We have a public restaurant here, so the public's allowed into it. The question is, how do we form accountability? So one step that we can do is do the access management. Is that going to cure it all? I can't tell you that. It's a step in the right direction, but that's the problem that we face in general. So I think that's all the question that we're all looking to answer is, how do we get that accountability? Again, we do have a public restaurant in here. So how do we prevent them, besides holding their hands and taking them to the restaurant, saying this is where you're allowed to be? How do we do that?
If we're using a plate reader coming in, why can't we use a plate reader maybe in some of the busier intersections and on the way out? So we know when they came in, if they were wandering around, and when they left.
No one's saying we can't. That's what we're doing with the BGM, looking into these access management bids and seeing what the best possible product we can get for the community.
Linda Johnson, 2161. I want to talk a little bit about the Pony Express. I don't know why Bill hasn't gotten up. Anyway, we have a Pony Express. It started years and years and years ago. And if you're interested, see Sam Ramsey, get on the Pony Express. They do 2 shifts each day. They ride around. They're not police or anything, but they help the patrol with some of the stuff that the patrol has to do. They do it, the patrol does it at night, but they check the pools, they check the gates, they have a regular list of what they go through. So there are people going around every day, well, not on the weekends, just showing the flag. And if you see one of them, they wear those orange vests. And if you have a question, stop and ask them. They might not be able to answer it, but they would direct you to who could answer it. I just think, I know that the amount of people on the Pony Express have dwindled. And I really think that there's more things that the Pony Express could do. But get involved in the Pony Express. It's a wonderful, wonderful organization, and it's always been in my heart, as Bill knows. Is Sam still doing it? All right.
Yes.
Bill, for many, many, many years ran it, and he turned it over to Sam Ramsey. So it's on a volunteer form. You can check off that you want to be on the Pony Express. But please think about that.
Thank you, Linda.
Yeah, they're always looking for volunteers, and I do want to thank the Pony Express because they do a lot for this community. They also, if they see any violations or anything that we need to be aware of or anything that needs to be repaired, they do let us know. So they are out there a couple of times a day. Thank you.
My name is Mel Hinterland, live at 365. A number of years ago, I know we had an outside firm for patrol. What was the reason we went to employing the people?
I do not know the answer to that. So if someone can answer the question, I think Jeannie has her hand up. Okay, Jeannie.
Jeannie Abbott, 624. The reason our previous security was fired is because they were caught patrolling at the Catholic Church on our dime. They were being paid by Happy Trails to patrol Happy Trails, but they were splitting their time at night and going over and patrolling at the Catholic Church, and Happy Trails was paying them to be here. That was just one of many.
Thank you, Jeannie.
Yes, and we used to have a in-house, which was really great, but there were some problems, just like we're having problems now. And the idea was to go outside, which we did. And I'm trying to think of the name that we hired. Anyway, we went outside, and the problem with hiring outside people, one is they don't care about Happy Trails as much as a Happy Trails employee would. And also, there's a lot of paperwork up there. People don't realize that the patrol does a lot of paperwork. And they weren't doing the paperwork properly or the way that they were supposed. Anyway, there was a lot of reasons there, and I would be very, very opposed to having an outside company come in again. It didn't work.
Thank you, Linda. I think, Darlene, are we getting to the point where we have maybe a couple more questions?
Yes, yeah, we've got about 5 more minutes. Nothing online? No one is raising their hands online, so go ahead, Sandy.
Sandy Green, lot 1607. First off, back to your fence, you keep asking about it. The split rail fence, I think people have the wrong idea of what the landscape committee is doing. Lily and Johnny donated 3 sections, meaning this one section, this one section, this one section. The landscape committee is looking for ideas to not spend money. Yes, it costs maintenance to dig the hole. We understand that. $5 to fill the cement in there. Just as an idea to get a look at putting up sections. So it would be one section in a blank area of a split rail fence. It's not going to be a fence from the guard shack all the way down the median that connects where you jump over, do whatever. It's an aesthetic thing to just look a little nicer. The railing fence was donated by some owners. Yes, it costs a little bit for cement. That's what they're doing at the landscape committee meeting. And either Vicky or Bill Rhodes or Carrie or Martin, they can explain any of it to you. They're very approachable. So it's not a rail fence where you can't get across it. And second thing I want to do, I want to change the subject. Cindy, you're leaving, you're done being on the board. I personally want to say thank you for all your efforts, your volunteering. It's just been something I would never want to do, and I commend you for doing it. And last thing I want to say is, just so everybody hears it, you don't hear a lot from the Golf Course Relations Committee. Lily and I are both on it. Connie's on it. And we just want to let all the owners know that live on the golf course that Jason has let management know, has let us know, has let some board members know. His intention this summer is to remove articles in whatever manner he chooses to that are on his property and encroaching his property. He's had management put out a blast, and Bradley, you did that, right? And let owners know. So if there's pots that you love that are on his property, please put them on your property before you leave for the summer. His crews do plan to do more. He's started already. It causes some controversy, but please just know he does plan to do that.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you, Sandy.
Jennifer.
I think we got one more. We get Darlene's mic back on.
Hello? Okay, thank you. We've got one more here and then we'll wrap it up.
Bill Swirsky, lot 2250. One last comment on the patrol. Back in 2017, the board asked me to make a survey of outside companies to replace the company that we had. The company we had was Securitas, and they are a worldwide company. And we had a small piece of it right here at Happy Trails. The service they provided was minimal. They were not committed. And we already heard about their work at the Catholic Church. But they were there to do an 8-hour day, and that was their level of interest in this resort. I went out to other companies, and what I found almost universally was the employees at those companies felt like they were just chattel. There was no support by their companies. They were just moved around by location, by time frame during the days. No caring about their family life, the effect on their family life. So in 2017, I headed up a 3-person group to form what we have now. And our intent at the very beginning was to make sure that patrol integrated with the community, that they were not there just to do an 8-hour job. We asked them to appear at the door every time one of us came by in an automobile or golf cart, wave, just act like you're interested. And they were very interested. And I think if we got back to that, it would solve some of our problems. Not all of our problems. We have more problems than that. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Bill.
I've got one thing I'd like to add, and we talked earlier about the budget and everything. Jennifer mentioned it. We are going to live by a budget. If we have $1 million to spend, we're spending 85%. We're not going to spend it because we got more. The other thing is that we have to have money left to invest, to get a return so we can continue to grow. But if Brad comes up and says, Fred, we need to pour some concrete here, the board's not just going to approve it. We're going to make sure we have the money. In other words, it's not an issue, it's not a problem, and we'll spend the money and the board will approve it. We're not going to approve it and then maybe we have the money, or we're putting ourselves in the rear. We're not going to do that. We're going to run this in the right way, and that's my word.
I apologize. Apparently someone has raised their hand up on the screen. Oh, never mind. She took it down. Oh, she's back up. Okay, up or down?
This is Vicki Ray, Space 54. About the patrol, nobody's mentioned vendors days, how many people come in there and are roaming around and don't have any accountability. Also, the patrols used to come by here slow, look between each of the buildings, see what's going on. Lately, they come by like about 25 miles an hour, eyes straight ahead, and just want to get back to the shack, I guess. So I don't think they're doing a very effective job of patrolling. And I think they used to come around like every hour. I don't see that anymore. Also, they used to come out, like you said, wave, make eye contact with who was coming and going. I think that was a great benefit. And I think it really did give them a sense of, hey, people are happy you're here. We're happy that you're there. And I agree with the person who said that the two other patrols could be out more often. And if they were out more often, slowing down, going through the pools, that would be a big help. That's all I got to say.
Thank you, Vicki.
I'm not on. I'm on. Okay, thank you. I want to thank everyone for being here this morning. I appreciate all your feedback. And I hope you all have a blessed day. Thank you.